Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. 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 Om, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. That is right, but
So many sounds.
some kola 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 kola.
If internet is weak also. No, some audios.
Huh?
Audios are on. No. It is there. Our audio is not proper. Something is happening.
Hari Om. It is not clear.
Breaking. Swamiji, 1 second here. Our audio is something wrong. This into is coming. What to do with this? Sound.
Can you hear? Okay, that is enough. What you say is not clear.
Now it is clear. Hari Om.
Ah.
Now it is clear.
Okay.
Swamiji,
Ah.
பத்தி சொன்னதுல ஒரு பாயிண்ட் மனசுல இருக்க சொல்லாமா, ஷேர் பண்ணிக்கலாமா?
சொல்லுங்க.
அதாவது பகவான் ஒரு ரூபத்துல அந்த அவுல கொடுக்கிறார், பின்ன பகவான் ஒரு ரூபத்துல வாங்கிக்கிறாங்கிறது ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கான இது.
ஆமா.
கிறிஸ்தனோட இதுக்கு மாமிக்கு இந்த அவுல் கொடுக்கிறார்.
ஆமாம்.
ஒரு பிராமண இதுல
ஆமாம்.
பின்ன பகவான் ரூபத்திலே வாங்கிக்கிறார்.
ஆமாம்.
டிமாண்ட் பண்ணி வாங்கிக்கிறார். ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கா இருந்தது.
ஆமாம். Giver is he, taker is he. In the poem, we should try to remember. We will forget, but as many times we will try here. That is the only way we have. So we have to keep on praying to him. You have taught us that you are the giver, you are the taker. We intellectually understand all these things. But when somebody gives, we don't see you there, we only see that individual. When we give also, we only see the individual. So actually the giver and taker is you. Through so many things. Yesterday also you made us aware that when he prompted Sudama to ask his wife for some gift to be given to Lord Krishna, she couldn't say anything, nothing was there, nothing. But with a very heavy heart she went out. Immediately the Lord himself came in the form of somebody and gave this small quantity, the quantity which Sudama expressed. And then she immediately cleaned it and pound it, that paddy, and then made it as the beaten rice and then sent it. So the Lord knows that he has brought it. The other one was only a drama. He wanted to, because it is wife's problem, Sudama's problem was not theirs. Sudama was content. Sudama was always reveling in the bliss. So he did not need anything. But when he prompted the wife to request him to go to Lord, and so that to him it will be nothing, to give us some help. So when she was prompted to ask, she was given, and she prepared the beaten rice. That is why before he entered his old home, everything was arranged for her. Though he was there, he was not there. Though Sudama was in their midst, he was not identifying or owning or enjoying any of those things. That stage, by God's grace, he has reached. even when he was in the midst of dire poverty. So now we move to chapter number 33. Anything that comes to anybody's mind from this 33?
Silence as a top.
Jani by Dharmashala, some chips were given to some sadhus, including Ramdas. And other people will sat for dinner. One sadhu came and he didn't have food for 2-3 days. So Ramdas simply hand on over the chip to him and walk out, making a announcement for him. That's a very big decision.
Spontaneity. Spontaneously it was given. Prior to that, there was a small incident.
Swamiji,
Ah.
there were ladies who were singing with us in the early years of Dharma.
You keep your audio properly, Padmaji. Check the audio. Yes.
My audio is all right, Mataji.
Now it is okay.
But somebody should use. There were two ladies who were singing bhajans in the early morning near the Dharmashala.
Bhuleshwar.
No. Two ladies singing, beginning.
Janaki Bai.
Yeah.
Bhuleshwar.
Bhuleshwar temple.
Singing on the Radha Krishna.
Song name is Radha Krishna.
That is it. Dharamshala was always full. It could accommodate to 200-300. About 4 o'clock in the morning, Ramdas, who was asleep, woke up to listen to the most rapturous song issuing from the Dharamshala. The subject of the song was Radha Krishna. The manner in which the two devout mothers were singing was full of pathos, and the voice filled the air with a sweet, fascinating charm. Krishna's own love seemed to have mingled with the music of their voice. Krishna's own love seemed to have mingled with the music of their voice. Ramdas felt himself raised to heights of ecstasy and was lost in it as long as the singing lasted. Yes, that is also a clue to us. When we sing bhajans, we should identify ourselves totally with it. And not only that, we will be raised to a higher level, the hearers also will be to some extent raised to a higher level. The advantage of the singer is he or she is fully involved in it. The hearer, he would have come late, or he would have been listening to the outside sound also. But because of the intensity of the devotion of the singer, the hearer's mind also will get automatically concentrated upon, and they will be raised to a higher level. So this is what Papa teaches us by explaining about this. Then, before that, one incident took place. The train had almost neared Ahmedabad when, at a certain station, the ticket inspector came in to check. He found about a dozen sadhus in the carriage without tickets, of whom Ramdas was of course one. He gave an order that all sadhus should get down. Accordingly, one by one the sadhus dropped down from the carriage. Now Ramdas also rose up. But the ticket inspector, who was standing quite close to him, placing his hand on the shoulder of Ramdas, pressed him to sit. Maharaj, you need not alight. What I said was not meant for you. Oh Ram, why this preference for Ramdas? No, he has no right to question thee. Thy slave is ever bound to thy holy feet, O Ram, and that is all. through these small incidents, he is reminding us that even when we get such privileged attention, Papa does not attribute to the individual. Though the ticket character was the instrument, he was seeing Ram behind it. Otherwise, normally our gratitude, we thank him normally, and we forget about it. But here it is not like that. We are thanking him. And at the same time, he says, we have no right to ask why you did. Why this preference? Oh, I should not ask. Because that is his will. We don't have to question and get an answer. So that was one point. Another point was bhajan. Third point was instantaneously how he parted the chit for meals. The only response which Ram made Ramdas to give at that time was to silently and cheerfully hand over to him his own. And instantly walk out of the place. He now wandered in the sun. Huh?
One more point.
One more point, yes. What is
Papa,
that?
in the beginning of the chapter, Papa was as silent as a top.
Yeah?
Silent.
Pardon?
Papa was as silent as a top.
I couldn't hear.
Your voice
Repeat,
silent.
repeat, ma.
Here, silent, Swami. Here, one silent.
In the beginning.
But Ramdas was all through as silent as a top.
That-
Most of the sadhus, they were sadhus of the party are now determined to abandon the leadership of the sadhu Ram and forming groups of two amongst themselves, moved away from the place. But Ramdas, who was all through as silent as a top, busy with the repetition of Ram's name, clung fast to the sadhu Ram, helped him in carrying his sandals and lota and followed him. Although for a time the sadhus were separated, they all met again at the nearest railway station. So even during the testing time, he was able to have the tranquil mind by repeating and keeping. He was not responding, Others were grumbling and complaining because the leader knew that he has lost the way. And so many abandoned him, but he stuck to him. Yes, then now at a certain turning on the footpath, a grief-stricken man of middle age saluted Ramdas and offered him a pie. Returning the salute, he said that he would not accept money but would take fruits. At hand, there was a mother selling plantains. The friend bought one plantain for the pie and handed it to Ramdas. Now he made Ramdas sit on the path and narrated his story. He said he had only one son who was a veritable jewel. He was so intelligent, so mild, so good in character, so promising, so affectionate and loving, and also so handsome in features, such a model of perfection. And this son was carried away by plague about a month ago. Ever since this heavy loss, he had been stricken mad over the sad blow. He therefore begged Ramdas to find a way for him to bear this calamity. Ramdas then replied, "Brother, to sorrow over the loss of your son is to hug delusion. To be free from this sorrow means to know the reality. There is only one way to wake up to this reality, and that is to meditate upon God." How can I do it? I cannot control the mind. Put in, my friend. Well, now, begin here to repeat the mantram which Ramdas is bidden by Ram to give you and see the immediate effect. Saying this, he gave him the Upadesh of Rama Mantram, made him repeat it then and there for about 15 minutes without stopping. While he was doing this, a sense of relief came to him. Then he rose and, saluting Ramdas, said he had secured the right key to unlock the gates of peace. He further admitted that since repeating the mantra, he had been experiencing calmness and he would not give up repeating it always. Then he left the place. Ramdas continued his mad walk. Now he passed through the broad road adjoining. Okay. Then anything else? So this is also very important. At that particular moment, that means Papa used to say, it is something like a damp wood and the fire. A dry wood will catch the fire. Damp wood will not catch the fire. So in this case, he was a dry wood. When he was explaining about the then state of mind, his devotion was there, faith was there, unqualified trust in him was there. That is the dryness. So when Papa gave him, that is the fire, Papa gave him the mantra, normally it is very difficult, immediately to feel the relief. So God arranged that he had reached that level, then God made Papa to go there, God made him to repeat his vows, God made Papa to give him the mantra. And for all of us, it is again a reiteration or, to make our faith more and more firm. Otherwise, in 15 minutes of chanting gives him some relief, and he was able to say that I got the right key to unlock. To say that in 15 minutes experience, something super. It is for all of us to...
A conducive atmosphere to catch the fire.
Conducive atmosphere was there, but you see, his level of absorption, his unqualified faith,
Yes.
in the words of Papa.
Swamiji, Swamiji, what is my opinion? Because Papa, it was given, because Papa had given that Upadesham, I think that may be another reason for his getting the peace.
Because Papa has given directly, maybe that is the reason he got the peace.
Papa has given the Upadesham directly to many people, They did not get it. So the receiver, even at the time of initiation, he used to say, you got that book, small book? No. He says, it will become sweet only when the low passions of the heart is completely removed. He is very, very clear about it. At the time of initiation, we all play a tape. Prior to 1963, before Papa dropped the body, he was explaining about the sweetness of Ramnam. That is the one which we are making use for the initiation. So here he says, many people may not be very clear because it may not be audible. Ramdas can tell you this much, that from the very time he started repeating the name, he began to feel the sweetness of it. So he used to pray to God, he does not want anything else, only he wants your name. Let your name be ever on his tongue. It is because it is so sweet. So it proved to be not a means to an end, but an end in itself. This is the wonder about the name which he is repeating. Next line is very important. It depends upon the repeater. It depends upon the repeater, of course. Unless we are free from the low passions of the heart, we cannot taste the sweetness of the same. So here, when he came at the right moment, he was ripe enough. Sugar is sweet, by nature it is sweet, it can never be bitter. So the name is by nature sweet. All of us have been repeating it for decades now, Now we are checking whether we have found the sweetness. But when the sweet sugar is put on the mouth of a man who is having some kind of fever, he finds the taste not sweet but bitter. He throws it away. That shows the man is diseased. When we are diseased with low desires, the name does not taste sweet to us. We must go to a doctor who can cure us of that disease. That doctor is the Guru, who by his presence removes our disease of desires and gives us the nectarian name. And you find that instant it is sweet. And sweetness comes to you as long as you are going on repeating the name, until at last you become sweetness itself. Not merely the taster of the sweetness, but sweetness itself. So you drink and drink and drink the name until the drinker and the drink become one. Ramdas will chant. So it is made very, very clear. It depends upon the repeater. That is why, in spite of the fact that we have been doing Ramnam, many of us may be doing it for our material purpose, Okay, that is also allowed initially. But Papa clearly says this should be done only for remembering him. Because the moment we remember him, that he is within us, the onus is on him, the responsibility is on him to bless us with a peaceful life. We don't have to ask anything more. That is why when he was in Rishikesh, when somebody asked him, that is explained in the Vision of God, how long you have been doing this? He said, 2 years. He said, for 30 years I have been doing this. I have not had this sweetness. So then Papa said, he feels he is chanting the name. So long as we feel that we are chanting the name, he went to the extent of telling, even if they chant for 100 years, it will be like this. So, so long as we feel that we are chanting the name, the desired result will not be there. But if we start somehow tutoring our mind that it is he who is making us to chant, probably we may have to try this many a times, because we are used to the other way. I have to go now, my Ramnam session is there, I am doing the Ramnam. No? That is how we say that. Never it crosses our mind. God has provided, God is making me, and God is chanting his name through me. God is chanting his own name through me. So like that, Papa here clearly says that unless and until we do that, we may be doing it, but this sweetness will not be enjoyed by us. So here, by bringing this incident, Papa is touching and kindling all these thoughts in us. That is why he could say, while he was doing this, a sense of relief came to him. Then he rose and, saluting Ramdas, said that he had secured the right key to unlock the gates of peace. He further admitted that since repeating the mantram, he had been experiencing calmness and he would not give up repeating it always. Then he left the place. Ramdas continued his mad walk. Then he went to his brother. He gave him a packet also. Papa never carries anything, so as soon as he got down there, that was distributed. Here he says, all the way he was, the train started. Ram now got Ramdas the company of another friend who was sitting beside him on the same bench. He travelled with Ramdas as far as 2 stations this side of Nasik. All the way he was talking of nothing else but Ram. Now and again he would sing about Ram, composing songs extempore. In fact, he was more mad of Ram than Ramdas himself. Here Ram was teaching Ramdas how to become really mad of him. Here Ram was teaching Ramdas how to become really mad of him. It was a perfect delight to enjoy his talk and songs of Ram. It was all Ram's preordained plan, and Ram is always kind. Before alighting, his friend requested another passenger who was close to him and who too was bound to guide and take care of Ramdas. And twice, he was asked to get down, but finally, Papa was unperturbed. Through this incident, the teaching is that when other passengers, they became sensitive to the demands of others, the situation of others. Though Papa did not demand anything, the situation that Papa was not to be asked to get down, the care and concern for others. Twice it happened. Ram's test.
Sadhus.
Here again.
Especially sadhus.
Here, Ram's tests are at all times coming unawares. So he was, even when he was asked to get down from the train, Papa knew it was a test. Second time also, test. So there are 3-4 learnings in this stanza. Though it looked innocent and free from any deep thought, but it contained this. In-depth study reveals so many such hidden hints, and that is the purpose of taking up this. The first one was by keeping quiet, and repeating Ramnam, he became indifferent to the situation outside. So that did not upset him. So outwardly it was an adverse circumstance, but he was not affected like others because he was fully concentrating on the chanting and therefore keeping silent. Mental chanting must have been going on, and so outwardly he was silent also. And then when everybody was asked to get down, when his turn came, the ticket inspector comes and says, "No, this is not meant for you." There also he was attributing everything to Ram only. So throughout we find he was witnessing or observing Ram's play through various creations. And then the song. What should be our mental attitude while we sing the glories of the Lord. It should be whole-souled, so that not only the singer enjoys, but the hearer also equally enjoys. Both of them are taken to a higher realm. So through that he says what should be the attitude while doing bhajan. And Papa keeps on testing. He has not had his food, but one merchant, he decided to have and so he was also one among the person to whom the chit was given. Okay. Then one sadhu comes and says he has not had food. So will you kindly recommend? I have been going out. Swamiji, the ticket which was so and so, shall I be able to secure dinner without a ticket? So he did not want Papa's ticket, but actually what Papa did was to silently hand over cheerfully his own ticket. This also, he was really mad of Ram. And then afterwards, the next drama scene comes. Somebody offers him a pie, then he doesn't accept money. So for that he was given a plantain. Then he started narrating his own woes. Then Papa initiates him and he gets the relief with Ramna. So when we are ripe enough, when our faith becomes total, when our trust becomes total, sweetness that comes. Then again in the train he was blessed with the company of a person, and Papa here says he was more mad than Ramdas. That's also a... Then twice he was asked to get down, and again all of them, the rest of the passengers, appealed to him, appealed to the ticket collector, and both times he was not allowed to get down from the bus. And Papa here says the test comes unawares. Panchavati and Tapovan, we will take it up tomorrow. Anything else you would like to share? During this journey, we must have heard many a times about the word test. It should not be taken lightly. So as devotees, as spiritual aspirants, we have to somehow keep remembering this word, test. Anything that happens to us right from morning till evening, at the time of that particular incident, we may be slightly upset because we are viewing it only as individual to individual. But if this gets rooted in us, immediately, he will remind us, I am testing you. Oh. So this is a very important word, T-E-S-T, Throughout this, we have seen all the chapters, some form of test is given to Papa. And Papa narrates it so that it is not to highlight the test he was meted out, to highlight the need for us to take everything as his test. It is very difficult. We are not used to it. we will immediately attribute to that individual or situation or an object. So now we pray to him. You have been hammering this word test on our mind. Still we have not understood its real significance. The purpose of your bringing the word test to us is that all of us are subjected to his test always. Sometimes the method used by him may be very painful for us. So immediately we may not be able to accept it as a test. But an in-depth study of inquest of God, if it comes back again and again and again, probably to some extent we may be able to reconcile, oh, this is also a test meted out. Ultimately it is for my good. Is that clear to everybody?
Time alone heals.
Yes, Swamiji.
Yes, Swami.
Yes, Swamiji.
This is very, very important.
Yes, Swamiji.
Yes, Swami.
Because at times, we may not be able to accept, agreed. But within the shortest possible time. So every day when we do Ramnam or our usual daily prayer, this also we have to add, especially morning, before we start our life's business. We pray to him. We don't know how many tests you are going to give us. It is all right, I will not grumble, but make me aware that you are meting out the test on me. Let me not attribute it to individuals, situations and objects. Let me attribute it to you. So this, when we keep on praying, probably proportionate to the intensity we have, he will definitely hear us.
One more lesson Papa teaches us, Swamiji. There's Ramdas, when after listening to the song sung by two ladies, he felt the ecstasy as long as the singing lasted. Similarly, we get the enjoyment when orally we chant Ram in different tunes, and we feel the ecstasy till the song lasts. After the Ramnam starts, the ecstasy goes up.
Yeah.
That's what Papa indicates.
Quite right.
இப்போ குரு மந்திரம் அந்த குரு வந்து டாக்டர் மாதிரின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காரு. அந்த உபதேச இதுல குரு வந்து டாக்டர் மாதிரி. அப்ப டாக்டர் மாதிரி குரு வந்து இந்த இதே எடுத்துடுறாருன்னு சொல்லியிருக்காரு. ரிமூவ் தி டிசீஸ் ஏதோ லைக் தட். அது அப்படி நமக்கெல்லாம் ஆன மாதிரி தெரியல. நமக்கெல்லாம் உபதேசம் எப்போ வாங்கியிருக்கோம் பப்பாட்ட. அந்த மாதிரி தெரியலையே. போன மாதிரி தெரியலையே.
அந்த மாதிரி தெரியலையே. So that means we should be ready, When the doctor prescribes the medicine, when we go take it in the way in which it should be taken, then only the relief will come. So here the Guru says, when you chant the name, your outer action should be compatible with inner aspiration. So if we behave from the self-centered way, we will not be able to derive the benefit out of it. Provided, here remove, provided we are receptive. Not that, our experience shows that, no. He removes, but we again put it on us. Because we are watching our own life. What had happened to us? Many people would have accepted Guru Mantram from the Guru himself, Papa from Papa himself. Many seniors, when they come there, used to tell us, 40 years back, 50 years back, we had come here, or 60 years back, we had come here, we had taken the Guru Mantra from Papa. That is not the criterion, no. The criterion is our purity of mind. this June issue of the vision will elaborately discuss about the purity of the mind. And Papa there clearly says, unless the mind becomes pure, we will not be able to derive the fullest benefit in our spiritual journey. So here also he says, the low passions of the heart. Just because we go to a guru and take it, he will not. He cannot. Whatever he says, okay, he has reached that stage after a lot of sadhana. That also we should know, We should start from where the guru started. We are seeing from the stage where guru has ended. And we immediately think it will come to us. No. We also have to start.
Exactly, sir.
So he has paid the full price. And in order to give us the faith, he has used that word. The doctor is the guru who by his presence removes our disease of desires and gives us this nectarian name. Here we saw now, it is a true statement. The moment he gave this mantra, that person got relief. In our case, we did not get relief. So we are trying to find out. So the purity of the mind is very important. So test and purity of mind. Okay. Anything else? Test purity of mind and bhajans with the devotional fervor. And even in this chapter, we find the dialogue continues, By attributing everything to him, O Ram, the dialogue. We feel that aspect also should be given a lot of importance. Dialogue. O Ram, why this preference for Ramdas? No, he has no right to question thee. Thee, is a dialogue. Thy slave is ever bound to thy holy feet, O Ram, and that is all. Because this dialogue makes us feel his presence. Because he is nameless and formless, it is very difficult, for us to conceive him and then talk to him. So how to do that, every one of us has to develop a method. If he has got a name and form, it is okay. So that is why Papa used to say, initially, you bring any form. If you find it difficult to concentrate upon a nameless, formless reality, you superimpose any form and then transcend it. So we are unable to have this dialogue because of this probably. It might be, we don't know, it could be. Because any other Ishtadevata or a chosen deity or a Mahatma whom we revere, the moment we talk about him, we think about him, he is there before us in our mental vision. When we make a reference about him, he is there before us. Here the problem is, he is nameless, formless. So to bring him within the framework of our thought, it's a toughest job. Because thought can only bring anything that has got a name and form.
But Swamiji, we can that he is hearing. We can believe that, you know.
Papa says that one more method, sound, you know. All of us can hear our own sound, you know. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. So that sound can be concentrated upon. Where from the sound comes? The sound is all pervading. Nada Brahman, he used to say that. So whenever we find it difficult to develop this concept, which is the toughest job, concept of a conceptless reality, you know, is beyond all concepts. Because he is the very subject. He is not an object. So to develop a concept on the subject is the toughest job. So he has given us so many clues. You bring any form which you are comfortable with, and then later on transcend that form. You concentrate on the sound. There are 4 methods, he says. First you concentrate on the form. It's not possible. Then he says sound. Then he says, okay, I cannot do that. The mind goes here and there. Then he says, wherever it goes, where can it go? So wherever it goes, you try to find him, relate yourself to him. And that is also not possible. Then he says, simply watch your mind. When we choose any of these, he says ultimately we will be able to control the mind.
Last one is Swami.
Just watch the mind. Let it go anywhere. I am unable to control it. Okay. Slowly, when we habituate, when we train the mind, train ourselves. I don't know how to say that. When this training comes to watch the mind, who is watching the mind? We cannot answer this.
Swamiji.
Swamiji.
Please repeat. I could not hear.
There are 4 methods he suggests for control of the mind. First one is to concentrate on a form and transcend it. So that is also not possible because the moment the form comes, I know it is transient. It was there. Now, for example, gurus, they had a body, they were in existence. Now they have quit. So there also the confusion comes. Then he says you concentrate upon the sound. You are chanting the name, a sound comes. Where from that sound comes? Then the devotee, that is also not possible. Still mind is going out. Okay, let it go wherever it goes. Where can it go? When we say God is all-pervading, is there any place where God is not? So the object or the person or the situation that comes in our mental vision is also He. Then, that is also not possible. Then you say, watch the mind. Just watch the mind. So any of these 4 methods when we employ, according to Papa, it might be possible for us to control the mind gradually, which will take us to the flights. We will be slowly going, coming back, again going, coming back, again going, coming back. Then slowly, step by step, we will be able to move forward. But this should not be forgotten. What matters is what we do during the non-chanting time. It is not during the chanting time only we are to think about God, That is why he was very particular to say that outer activity should be compatible with inner aspiration. The efficacy of the mantra lies not merely in its incessant repetition, but also a constant attention to it, knowingly chant. The sound of the mantra will then be found to have a most soothing effect on the mind. It will lull the feverishness of the mind. This equanimity will in its turn awaken the sleeping divine consciousness, bringing the soul in direct contact with the indwelling and all-pervading reality. We have to take the name of the Lord with all strength and faith and repeat it breathlessly, as it were, at all times, whether we are at our bath, in the kitchen, on the road, or in the office. We must keep dinning this fact into our mind and take refuge in the name. Then each repetition will have a new meaning. Each repetition will carry us nearer and nearer to God. At the same time, we should know that parrot-like repetition only signifies our failure to recognize Him. Whenever we feel we are not progressing, we have been asked to resort to satsang, solitude, and chanting of His name. That's why he says, nobody will be able to exclusively spend their waking time fully on contemplative life. So we have to ensure that spirituality must enter into every activity in life. We should know that it is by the power of the Spirit that our life is activated in its manifold expressions. In the classroom, hospital, office, marketplace, factory, and field, as well as in temple, church, and mosque, we should tune ourselves with the Spirit. Divine thoughts and feelings should permeate us. We must have the right attitude while being involved in seva. Let our service be done in a spirit of spontaneous love. A marvelous depth of patience, a spirit of never-failing forgiveness, and a capacity to suffer cheerfully for the sake of others will then be ours. Work is done as worship, then alone it gives joy. It should be done as perfectly as possible with great care and love, never in a slipshod, clumsy, irregular, half-hearted way. The inner beauty must reveal itself in our outer contact. You see this word. The inner beauty must reveal itself in our outer contact. Worship does not mean only offering flowers to the image of the Lord. Keeping anything neat, clean, tidy is also worship. This attitude will come only when we are aware that we are serving God in that form. In other words, when we hurt anybody, we should know that we actually hurt God only. When we do something in a haphazard way, we are neglecting God and disrespecting God. When we keep on pumping these ideas into our mind with a prayer to Him to enable us to see Him in everything, we will slowly find that even while doing simple acts, we will be careful, joyful. So along with chanting of His name and dedicating everything to do Him, we should also practice dhyana, which is an attempt to move from me to Him. The me idea exists only at the thought level. In deep sleep, we are not aware of the me factor because no thought is there. So the journey of me to Him means the thought is trying to know its source, stillness. This is called dhyana. The four we know. Concentration on the sound of the name, concentration on some form or light, bringing in the God dimension to wherever the mind wanders, and lastly, trying to be the witness of the mind. By watching the mind, we detach ourselves from the mind and become the witness of the mind.
Once more.
Huh?
Once more he wants to hear.
For stilling the mind, we have to systematically train our mind to go along with it. For achieving these four methods for controlling the mind have been suggested. Number one, concentration on the sound of the name. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Sound of the name. Then concentration on some form or light. If that is not possible, okay? If this is also not possible, bringing in the God dimension to wherever the mind wanders, that is identifying everything with God. Fourth, and lastly, trying to be the witness of the mind. By watching the mind, we detach ourselves from the mind and we become a witness of the mind. As we begin to watch the mind, it will gradually cease to be. The witness or awareness alone remains.
As like Buddha under a Bodhi tree.
So it can be said that seva facilitates the transition from me to we at the outer level, while dhyana helps us to move from me to him at the inner level. At the same time, it should not be forgotten that it is Nama which serves as the mainstay for both seva and dhyana. So that is why first thing we are asked to take up Nama. Because Nama holds the key. Whenever I do something haphazardly, immediately the Nama practiced by me comes and, hey, what have you done now? Is that the way to do it? Immediately we go and correct. Similarly, in dhyana also, when the mind does not behave well, then again we resort to Nama. So Nama is the main, that should not be forgotten. Nama helps us to have the right attitude for seva. Nama helps us to have an effective landing in the core of our being with the help of Nama. Dhyana helps us to land there, okay. Stillness or the core of our being. For that also, Nama helps. So that is why we remember when Papas told Puja Swamiji that if you have still doubts, that means the Nama has not been properly chanted. We have to do a lot of thinking on that. What is this properly chanted? What is meant is the right attitude. And also during the non-chanting time, we should try to bring in this theme, why we are chanting the name, to remember him. So these are all interlinked.
Swamiji, see, watching the mind, at the same time, wherever it goes...
not the same time. Not same time.
That's all God's blessing. Both are same, Swamiji. See, watching the mind one way, and wherever it goes, it is all God's blessing. Like that, both are similar.
People, we complain that the moment we sit for meditation, the mind goes to 100,000 objects. We are unable to control it. So Papa says, where is it going? You try to identify that everything is God. Everything has come from God, everything exists in God, and everything goes back into God. So it is not going anywhere. Suppose I feel that is also not possible. Then he says, you watch. Erratic nature.
No, by watching only we can know that attribute. We will attribute everything to God. Both are
No,
same,
if we know both are same, then this question will not come, We would have practiced it. It comes from our practice, So these 4 items, one, to concentrate on the sound. If that is not possible, concentrate on the form or light, not possible. Attribute everything to God, not possible. Then, okay, let the mind go wherever it goes. Just watch. Anything we try, we put it into our experiment and then see for ourselves. Okay. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Om Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Pranam Pranam